What is up, guys? My name is Adrian, and today I'm gonna teach you how to convert Excel files into CSV with JavaScript. In front of me, I have a GitHub repo called Sheet.js, and this is a library that will allow us to do this conversion. Inside the README, there's plenty information that, to be honest, I don't care at this moment because I'm gonna be using the CDN, but feel free, I will be putting the link in the description down below so you can read more and understand how this works in details. But basically, what I am going to use is one of these methods that will do all of our conversions. So it's pretty easy. On my right side, I have an index HTML, and I've already imported the library in the head section. And in our body, we don't have anything. So if I go to the live server, I can see that it's just an empty website. So let me add one input which will allow us to upload files, and we say of type an input of type file, and the ID can be, let's say, file selector. When I save, we can see that now a new element appeared in our website, and it's a button that will allow us to choose files. Okay, but this is not all. We will also need an input of type text, because what I want to do is I want to allow the user to just type anything, and this will add a new column on the Excel file, and the value that will be written here can be put on each record. So this input will be called, let's say, value, and we can put a name on this now so we see it. Perfect. What we are missing is a button that will do all the conversion. So when we click this button, we can call a method called convert to CSV, and the name can be convert. All right, so now I won't be using an external JS file, so just inside this index HTML. So let's create the function and call it convert to CSV, and let's see if this method is called when we press the button. So let's just console.log hello world, the almighty hello world string. Okay, so now I can open the console here, and when I click convert, we can see that we get hello world. Fine. Now what we want to do is, when we choose the file, we want to actually parse this file into an Excel and modify it, add the column, and then just convert it to CSV with this library. So in order to get the file, what I can do is just say const file will be equal to document.get element by ID, and the ID will be the file selector element, and our file will be inside this files array, and because we have only one file, it will be the first one. So let's console log this, and let's see if we already have the file when we press the button. So I am missing, okay, it's in my downloads, and I need the Excel. All right, so now we chose the file and we convert. We should be seeing the file in the console. This is good. Now we can see that the name is financial sample.xlsx, and This is fine because we will not be just logging this in the console, but we will be modifying it. But apart from this, what we also need is we need the value that will be written in this input here. So let's call it value, and we will do the exact thing. We'll say get element by ID, but now we'll parse this value name. And what we need will be inside this dot value. Okay, let's console this log. And value of input should be inside, should be inside value. All right. So we choose a file and we've got the value here called 123. So convert, and we should see 123. Perfect. So now let's get going. Next, what we need to do is we need to convert this file into an array of unsigned integers, and we can do that by saying dot array buffer, and this will return us a promise which we can access by saying then, and inside this anonymous function we have the result. Okay, but we also need the curly braces. Cool. Now what we need is we need the data of the file, and we say new uint8 array, and we pass the result, and this will just give us the data that we need. So next we need to create the actual workbook, and a workbook is the actual Excel file which is parsed from the file that we uploaded. Let's call it workbook, and this can be read. Now we need to use our library, so xlsx.read, and we pass the data and an object that will say that it's a type of array. Nice. So we after we have the workbook, what we actually need is the sheet that we want to convert into CSV, because if we have multiple sheets, then we can choose one of those to be converted into CSV. It's not that the whole workbook is being converted. So what we are actually interested in the first one. So first sheet name can be workbook now, and it's inside the sheets array, and we are interested in the first one. So if we console this log, if we console log this sheet name, we can see what it is called. Okay, let's save this and see what happens. So I have my financial sample here, and say just a random number. So we actually don't have a name for this sheet. Interesting. So it depends on the workbook. Okay, and next what we gotta do is we have the name, but we don't have the actual sheet. So worksheet will be equal to now workbook dot my mistake. Okay, so inside we don't see the sheet name because it's not inside that. My mistake was that I'm trying to access the sheet but not the sheet name, and the sheet name is inside the sheet names array, and that's why we saw undefined earlier. So if we do this once more, I'm pretty sure every workbook has a sheet name. Okay, that must be a typo. It's not sheets names, but sheet name. Okay. Okay, yeah, obviously, small mistake from my side. It's called sheet 1. All right, so now we actually get the worksheet by passing this name into the sheet array. Okay. Cool. Next, we need to convert this worksheet into a JSON. And again, we can use this library to do this conversion. So the JSON data that we want is xlsx.utils.sheet to JSON. And we pass the worksheet and how we want the JSON to be returned, and it's in raw form. Okay, so let's console log the JSON and we can see if this worked. Okay, so we have an array of objects inside this JSON. Yep, this looks good. So now what we need to do is we need to add a new key value pair into this JSON and then convert that back to a sheet and then to a CSV. So we can do this by saying the new JSON will be JSON data.map, and we just pass X here and we say okay, we spread X because we still want to have we just want to add something into the new one, and we say column name will be equal to value. But I think I have a mistake here. Yep, it's I need these. Wait a minute. So I need to open these first and then the object, the curly braces. So I spread the X and now I just add a new key value, which is, I'm just gonna say column name. I don't know, you can name this whatever you want. And the value that actually comes from this value will be dynamically put in here. Alrighty, so now if we console log this, we will see that we will have a new column in the end with the value of whatever we put in the input. And let's say blob and convert it. Okay. Let's make this bigger. And let's open one, I don't care. So here, as you can see, the column name and blob was added. We could add something more. Let's hardcode one more stuff. So column name 2 will be equal to something hard-coded, value 2. And if we do this once more, we will see that we have both of these inside. Yeah, let's open this one and we can see that we have the column name, the one that we added, and the value is dynamic, but then the hard-coded one is just under it. That's cool. Okay, so we don't want to just log this out. Now what we need to do is we need to parse this JSON into a sheet. Okay, So let worksheet 2, or let's name this new worksheet, and the new worksheet will be equal to xlsx.utils.json to sheet, and we just parse the JSON. We just pass the JSON in here. So by doing this, we should actually have a new worksheet which can be now converted into a CSV. And okay, what's left now is, apart from creating a new worksheet, we also need a new workbook, a new empty workbook that we can put the sheet inside. So new workbook, and it will be equal to xlsx.utils.book.new. So this will create us a new workbook. And what is actually needed right now is just this xlsx.utils.book and append sheet. So what we are actually doing is we just append the newly created worksheet to the new workbook, and we pass the workbook, we pass the new worksheet, and we can name this sheet whatever we want. So CSV underscore sheet. Why this is playing now? Okay. And the only thing that's left now is to write this into a CSV. And we can do that by saying write file, and we just pass the workbook underscore workbook. The name, we can choose to put the file name, but what I would like to do is I'll just create a new name without the extension of Excel. So by default, just the CSV will be added. And let's do it like this. So let file name without extension, and that can be achieved by saying, now we have the file, we have the name, and we call substring, and what we want is we want from where it starts and when is the last dot. So we can have multiple dots before, but we are interested in the last one. File dot name dot index of dot. Okay, and this should give us the file name without the extension, and we can pass this here and we say it's .csv, just like this. Okay, so let's try this out, and hopefully this should work fine. So we have the Excel here, financial sample, and we need to now download the financial sample.csv. Okay, there is a small error and it says undefined. Okay, let's see. It's at the book.new. Okay, so it's not dot, I'm sorry, it's underscore new. Do you want to allow downloads? Yeah, do that. Okay, so if I do this now, and we can see that the financial sample-2.csv is created, and if I open this, we should be able to see what we want to see. This is good. Now we have the column name that we added, and this value is being added dynamically, and this is hard-coded. So if I close this and just try it out with something else, so let's refresh this, I'll be adding the same one again, financial sample, but I will say JS tutorial. And if I convert this and I open it, we should be seeing the new one in the end. Okay, so I think this is it, and hope this helps. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.